Okay, the next step will be demonstrating or adding the CRUD or CRUD functionality with our application. CRUD stands for create, read, update, and delete. Okay, but our communication from the front end and back end would be through adding the service API. Okay, so first we have to add our add functionality, okay, or create functionality. So as you would see here in our add page, okay, this is where we add our new profile. Okay, we're gonna put in our name, age, and the photo, and then it will be automatically be added to our database. Okay, to do that, let's go to our um, Angular folder. Okay, Angular folder. As you would see, that will be in our Drive D. Okay, Drive D projects profile to add the functionality, which is to be added at add that component.ts. Okay. By the way, I've just added here the model, okay, a variable model, and we just initiated it or instantiated it, okay, with the class new profile. As you would remember, this profile is a model for the Angular that we have created earlier on. So new profile, okay, and where is that? So this one, import profile from profile, which is this one, profile ts. When we try to open this profile ts, it is just definition or interface of our um, fields. Okay, we got here the id, the full image, and photo. Okay, um, so let's go back to add component.ts. So we have instantiated the model, and then we added, okay, as you could see here, I've added a function add profile. Okay, so inside that we're gonna call the profile service. Okay, this is where we're gonna be calling our API. Okay, so inside that profile service, we're gonna call this API called add profile, and with the parameter this model. Okay, model is this one, so we're gonna insert the fields. Okay, the data fields there. Okay, the value in the data fields. Okay, so that subscribe means this is the um, a way to get the response from the server. So if this is successful, when we request, okay, that our fields will be added to via server through Laravel, okay. So inside the Laravel function, after adding the database, we could put something there for the response, so that we know that our request has been granted or successfully been written in our database. So this is response, okay, and we try to console log, okay, the response, okay, meaning if there's an error, automatically we're gonna get the result or response from the server that there will be an error. But if it's not, then we could put something like a success response. Okay, I will demonstrate that later. So we're gonna call here inside the profile service and add profile function. Okay, so let's go to our profile services. So that is inside the services folder, the profile services ts. Okay, okay. As you could see here, okay, I've just pre-added our function add profile. Okay, again, these are the functions, right? The add profile, and the parameter there is the model with those fields and values that we've added in our profile model. So add profile, right? So add component.ts, this is the one, okay? Add profile. Right. So let's try to check it. So info is a parameter model, okay? And then we've defined a variable data, okay? Since by default it will be accepting a JSON file, so we have to stringify it, okay, using our jQuery function stringify. We're gonna need to convert the object into a string. So using a JSON that stringify, and then we have to return the function, okay, HTTP post. Okay, the HTTP is one of the dependencies, okay, that we'll be using, okay, via import. As you can see here, this is how we would use the HTTP. We should have imported this one, okay, and then yeah, then HTTP that post, okay. As you would see, there's a lot of API functionalities, but at the moment we have to post. Okay, we're using a post request. So then this server is the server, I guess, our Laravel server, Laravel server. So that's the one, and then add profile. Okay, so we have to add something like after the slash. Okay, we have to add this URL name, add profile, and then comma the data would be the fields that we will be adding to the database, okay, fields and values, and then these options is the header, okay. So when you're communicating with different, let's say, different servers, okay, you see during a HTTP request you have to define your headers. Okay, so these options and these are the headers. Okay, dot map. Okay, this one is being functional because we've added a reactive extension. Okay, for Angular. Okay, in charge for that dot map. And then yeah, the response will be in JSON format. Okay, we're gonna get the response from the server with JSON format. Okay, so. So we're done with our front end. Now we have to add something in our back end. But I think I forgot something to tell you about add component.html. Sorry, add component.ts. Okay. So we're done with our add profile function. I just need to explain to you what's the content of other function aside from the add profile. Okay. In the image uploaded, this is a function we called in our HTML to um, this is an event that was being called, or a function that was being called after the image has been uploaded. So what would it do is it will hide the image, uh, the image selector, okay, and we gonna set our photo, model photo, into the default value, which is the, so you can see here, this one, Okay, the avatar, blank avatar. Okay, so that's and then image remove is a function that is been triggered when we close it. Okay, so let's try to check that. So look, okay, so when you select a file, we're gonna select this one. Okay, so that's the triggered one is uploaded. Okay, if you're gonna check your HTML, okay, what is it? Add component.html. Okay, here, since this is a dependency, right, that we have installed. Okay, yeah, this one on. This is the event on file upload finished. We're gonna call the image uploaded. Okay, so in add component, yes, this is the image uploaded function, and then we get a parameter there which is a file. Okay, and then we just hide the image selector, and then if we get back to our add component HTML, the image selector would be this one. All right, so it's gonna hide the default image. Okay, but on remove, okay, on remove, okay, we're gonna call the image removed function. Okay, so when we go to add component.ts, there is an image remove function. Okay, and then the image tag is gonna be shown. So when the image has been removed, the image tag will be shown. So and the default image should be the avatar3.png, as you could see here. So when you try to remove the photo, this is the default image, which is the avatar. Now let's go to our Laravel app folder, and then let's go to routes. Okay, and then web dot and then web.php, and then here we're gonna define all our routes. So at the same time, just paste it. Okay, so this is our route. So it is post request. Okay, this is coming from our Angular app. Okay, Angular front end, the post request. Okay, and then our URI is add profile. Okay, and it's add profile. And if we try to go to our profile.service.ts in our Angular app, so this is our URI. Okay, sorry about that. This one, add profile. Okay, so that is the same as this add profile from our route in Laravel. And then after that, if we see that URI, we're gonna go to the profile controller and with the function add profile. So let's go to a profile controller, and then here above we're gonna paste our model from our Laravel, which is the profile. Okay, so where's that profile? So that is this one, profile.php. This is from our Laravel. So this is our model, right? Use app, it's a folder name, and then the profile. And then from our profile controller class, we're gonna add the function. Okay, add profile. Okay, and then this is a request coming from our Angular front end. So we're gonna define a variable profile and instantiate that, okay, with the model profile, new profile, and then variable profile, uh, full name, age, and photo. Those are the fields from our database. And then we're gonna put the value input coming from our um, Angular front end. Okay, the request coming from Angular. So that's full name, age, and then photo, and then we're gonna save it. All right. So in Laravel, these are the shortcuts in uh, saving to the database. Okay, it's just like the same as insert into SQL command. And then we have to have a response. So we're gonna just define a response. Okay, so our variable would be response. Okay, okay, we need to define the response, and then our variable be response. We just assign it as a profile added. Okay, and we could insert as well success is equal to true. Then we're going to return the response. When we go to add component.ts in our Angular, this is the subscribe, and then okay, this is the response coming from our Laravel, and then we just need to console log it in our browser so that we would know that we have successfully saved it in our database. So that's the same as profile added. Okay, console log in our response. So let's try it out. And our age is 28. Okay, select a photo, a sample photo. Gonna insert a photo, and then gonna press save. So just to debug that it's working fine, we're gonna press F12 in our keyboard so that our Chrome debugger will show. So now let's press save, and we got an error. We have to adjust this one, our Chrome debugger. And what's our error? Response to proof request doesn't pass access control check, or no access control allow origin. Header error. So we have an error in our header. So what we have to do is we go to our Laravel folder and go to public uh, index.php. Define something here above the Laravel index.php. Okay. At the same time, we're gonna say paste it, just paste, and then yeah, we gotta define the access control allow origin. So this HTTP localhost 4200 is our link to our Angular front end. Okay, so this is our development server in Angular. And then allow control allow method this is our HTTP request, so we'll be using get and post only. Okay, our HTTP requests. And then also got the origin, so we got the content type, okay, the tokens, encryption type, okay, and so on and so forth. So hopefully it would work now. Let's clear our error in our Chrome browser, and let's try it out. We got another error, so that's now it's 419 unknown status. Now how could we solve this bug or error? So what we have to do is go again in our Laravel folder, to HTTP folder in our project root directory app folder, and then HTTP folder. Okay, please be in mind that since we are using a post request in Laravel, there's what we call the verification of CSRF token that to be added. But since we are using Angular for our front end, we need to bypass the checking of our CSRF token. So in our middleware folder, there's a verify CSRF token.php. We gonna Here we're gonna define our exception. Okay, so we're gonna add here our URI that we need to bypass, so that when we have the request, it won't check our verified CSRF token in our Laravel. Insert here our URI, which is our /add profile. Okay, so in our router, Laravel router, that's the one, add profile. Okay, here our error again in our browser, and let's try it out. Okay, just need to adjust this debugger and save again. Hopefully there will be an error, no error. Oh, there's no error. So that's our response. Profile added, success is equal to true. So we get a positive response, profile added. Okay, so that response is coming from our Laravel add profile function. Okay, that response, profile added. Okay, now let's check our database if it's written or inserted in our database from profile stable. I'm gonna click that, and ta-ta, yeah, and ta-ta, yeah, that's it. We added the Margoliana, okay, age 28, and the photo as well. And those are created at, updated at, it is automatic timestamp, date timestamp. Alright, so our add component is successfully working. Okay, we're getting a success response from the server. Okay, that our profile has been added, but I think it will be nice to add something like a message after saving it. We're gonna put a message here, just notifying uh, the client, the notifying us that the adding of the profiles is successful. So to do that, we have to add a function, all right, that that we could call on in our front end, all right, that will show up the message box here, right? So in that case, we will be using a service again. Okay, what's the purpose of the service? So if you put a function inside the service, all right, so in any of the component you could call that, right? So yeah, because we could show a message as well if you delete the profile, if you edit the profile, right? So then we have to create just a one function to be called in uh, any of the component, like the edit component, delete component, and add component. So to do that, we have to create um, a service. So let's go back again in our Angular project file, and let's see. Yeah, we have to add another service. Okay, so let's go back to our Angular project file. Let's drive the underscore projects. Okay, I'm gonna right click this one. Sorry, right click the project folder profile, and then get bash. Mm. So in the command line, we're gonna put in the command uh, ng, okay, generate, G for generate, and then service, okay, and then the folder name, we already have an existing folder name services, right? So we just put it inside that, and our service name would be a message, right? So press enter. Mhm. Yeah, as you could see inside our services folder, we have created the message service. Okay, you just need to remove the spec file because we do that need that one. There's a little, and after that, since we created services, we have to check our app module.ts because we have to define it there in our module file. Right. We have to import it in our app.module.ts. I just need to copy this one. Okay, and we could name this one, this message service. Okay, and this one will be message.service. So this is the location of our message service. We have to copy this and insert it in our provider section. So it's a provider. Providers, okay, just add another service which is message service. Okay, all right. Let's go to our message service, and then here inside the export class we have to insert our function. So this is our function, show message. You could see it's all right. This dollar sign is red, right? We have to define it here above, okay, by declaring the variable, okay, dollar sign as to any data type. All right, so inside the function, we got a parameter there, the selector, okay, message color, message text, and icon that we'll be using. All right, so this is just a selector as you would remember in your jQuery, right? There's a function that remove class, so it just remove the class inside a remove class inside the div, all right? And then we're gonna add another class, okay, and then we're gonna put something like an icon, alright, and the message using the .html function in jQuery, and then we're gonna show it, and then just to animate the message, okay, we gonna fade in it in 1 second, alright, so something like it would show slowly, okay, and then it will be gone after 1 second as well. Alright, let's see that how it works. Okay, so in our module.ts we have to copy this import, okay, services, and then copy that, go to our add component.ts, and we have to put it inside above, okay, we have to import that so that we could use that message service, and then we have to inside our parameter in constructor we have to um, insert that message service, okay, define as private because we just need to use that inside this component. So our variable will be message service, okay, small m, and then it is defined as message service. All right, so we could use that variable. Okay, this message service is this one, right? And this is a variable defined as message service. Okay, then in our add profile function we're gonna call the variable, okay, and then in our add profile function we're gonna call this variable message service dot show message. This is the function inside the message service, and then we're gonna uh, put a parameters there, right? We're gonna add some parameters there, okay, so div sharp sign message one, so this is an ID, right? Div ID message one, okay, and then this is the new class alert info, this is the message, and this is the icon. As you would see in our message service.ts, so this is the parameters that we are inputting, okay. So what would happen is in add component.html, alright, we should insert this one. So just below the button, you should have inserted this div, alright, div, yeah, this div. Okay, this is the ID message one, okay, div ID message one, as represented as div sharp message one, okay. By default the style is display none, Okay, so when by default it's invisible, this message box. Okay, so that's the CSS style, right? So when it was submitted, okay, it will show the message. So let's see if we could see, if you would verify, okay, in the form control, okay, during a submit event, we're gonna call the add profile, right? Add profile function that's inside the add component.ts. So this is the function add profile function, and then it's gonna call the service, the profile service. Inside that we get the add profile function, and then if it's successfully added in the server, which is a Laravel backend, okay, it gonna return a response. Okay, a response is a response that is defined in our Laravel. Then after that, you're gonna show the message. Okay, so div message one. Okay, this is the class that we'll be adding next, and then the message, and then the icon. All right, so that's this one. Okay, that's the message color. Let's say, okay, the second parameter is the color. Alright, and that's animates. So let's try that. Let's try to add a new entry in our database. Okay, for example, let's say Jane Doe, let's say 44. We're gonna add a photo. Let's see. Alright, so it's recompiling. Okay, let's check our oops, there's an error. Okay guys, I'm having an error. Now I know the culprit. So this is in the import header. Alright, what I have done is I'm locking a dot here. Alright, so dot dot should be dot dot. So yeah, my path is wrong. In the up module.ts this is correct, right? But in the add component.ts it should be dot dot. Okay. So yeah, the path is wrong, so it should be the service message that service. So it should work now. All right. So again, we're gonna insert Django 44. Um, and select a photo. All right. And then we're gonna press save. Okay. See this space, right? It should show a message. Okay. Save. Oh, your profile has been successfully added, and yeah, it's gone. Okay? So that's the animation. 1 second showing, and then 1 second it can disappear. Okay, and then the response on the server profile added. So it's successfully added in our database. Just to check again. Okay, let's browse. Okay. See, so it's successfully added in our database, MySQL database.